Let us make a review of Rigathi Gachagua's interview with NTV last evening. Rigathi Gachagua proved with that single interview that he is capable of talking sense in an interview which is issue-based topics. He impressed me with the way he debated. A good debater or a good lawyer chooses points and forwards them. He or she forwards it in such a way that you would be convinced with the reasoning of his side, and you'll not be convinced with the reasoning of the other side. Yes, Rigathi can make a very good debater. You remember during the running mate debate with Mother Karua, here was a senior counsel debating against a former DO, but the DO debated so well that the senior counsel was not prepared. What's more, he even smuggled into the room prepared notes. It was too late. They could not change the rules halfway. It had to be changed later that nobody carries any form of notes. That is the Rigathi of yesterday. We had even thought that Rigathi had long died. In his place, we had a boastful person. From just the first speech he made at law after inauguration, he became a bully. He became a know-it-all person. He became a don't care. It was either his way or the highway. But the Rigathi of yesterday was a Rigathi who gave the impression of having the topics at hand, and he was not prepared. Even his body language did not portray a person who is bully, who is forceful, or rules, whatever. This is an individual whom, if he takes that character, and if the ruling party or ruling coalition takes what the stand that it is taking now, we would have a very serious challenge in the next election. He was issue-based. He was handling everything okay, coolly, and so on. It shows that that in mind shows that power corrupts, and it corrupts absolutely. You can see people like Murkomen, people whom the other day they were very good in articulating issues. But Murkomen, who is also a lawyer and a law lecturer emeritus, he has turned out to be a person who has, if you look at the way Rigathi Gachagua started yesterday and the way Murkomen talked the day before yesterday, you would think that each is acting the script of the other one. It would show that Rigathi is acting Murkomen's script and Murkomen is acting Rigathi's script. I'm worried that even I, if I'm given a position, a powerful position in government, I would also start talking like them. I think whoever's coined the word power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely was very right. Now let us try to look at the things that he was making sense before things got haywire and he became the Rigathi everybody, the Rigathi that is nowadays regardless. Rigathi was regardless. But starting off, he ended well. He went on well. He went on well, and I noticed something. I noticed that the interviewer, in my opinion, incited him. He was answering, he was addressing issues. He was an issue-based person until the interviewer reached a place and started touching the raw nerves and raw points that made Rigathi go back to the regardless we know. If the interviewer would have kept on the way Rigathi was doing, he would have articulated issues very well. But that is journalism to you. I have been interviewed with very many TV stations, apart from Citizen TV. I would say that when a journalist leaves the, what do you call, the media house, he or she has certain ideas that he or she wants from you. First and foremost, the interviewer coming, you usually talk roughly. You talk roughly on what you want to talk. Maybe the interviewer has talked to you on phone. Maybe you have met. Maybe you have whatever. So usually there are two approaches, and both approaches are a request to you that they want to talk to you on matters concerning A, B, C, D. So a few days before the interview, you talk on phone, or you meet somewhere, you talk extensively on what is needed to be covered. Then you agree on the day and place to meet. Say, okay, we are meeting on such and such a place and such a time. Just before they start testing their camera and microphone, the interviewer gives you a brief preview of the topics to be covered. Unless it is a friendly media. For example, Royal Media interviewing Raila, or KTN, or Standard Media Group interviewing Gideon Moi. In many cases, the interviewer is ready to surprise you with, on camera, the interviewer is supposed to, comes out with a secret weapon. There is a few questions, and those are the questions actually the interviewer is interested in. There are a few questions that the interviewer usually has as hidden weapon. He or she will surprise you in the middle of the sentence or the middle of a thinking so that you come out. Actually, that is the topic that brought that interviewer to you. All others are preliminaries. So when you are being interviewed with these people, be very careful with that surprise interview. Actually, what I do, immediately the cameras are switched off, I breathe in heavily and ask myself, is there any question that I've been ambushed with that I gave out unknowingly? And that is where I can say that Rigathi Gachagua was caught in such a situation that he became the real regardless. Otherwise, he did very well, and we will cover both sides. We will cover the part where he talked well and where he was, I don't know whether it was in that circumstance that he was caught unaware, or he was waiting for such a thing. For somebody who has been interviewed for very many times, maybe he was just ready for that opportunity. I am very sure that he made good points when he was asked about hired goons. I think in the future, because this thing is going to be cool, it's going to be cool until the next anniversary next year. This gives the government a lot of time to review, not even just the government, all those who are connected. The government will review the the picketing group. I don't want to use the word demonstration. The picketing group will also have to review. The question comes about this infiltration of looters and goons. I think for the next 11 months, each and every connected side will have to look at it, so that they review that, so that in the next year's remembrance, I remember during our time, so many years, uh, the university used to place the JM karaoke a memorial every year, until the government had to change the school timetable to make it that the university, the only university then, Nairobi University, they made sure that during the March, first week of March, they made sure that uh, the university would be closed so as to avoid that. So all those who are affected have time to review. All those who are affected, including looters, everybody who is affected, apart from us who will be observing things from the TV. Others will have to review. They'll have to look at the situation the way it is and come up with circumstances that can assist in their side. Rigathi Gachagua was asked about uh, the goons and the looters and whatever. One thing is, in any debate, in any discussions, it is said, even in a court of law, it is said that when you reach a stage where you all agree on one point, then there is no point on debating, on discussing that. You set it aside. And what everybody is agreeing is that the goons and the looters, let us start with the looters. It shows that the looters are not people who just, we have looters. Even right now, I come from a place, those who know Kabrengo, one of the looting cities in Kenya, or looting capitals in Kenya. But Kabrengo people, almost all the time, they don't plan to loot. It is for the vehicle rolling down the Chimoi hills that after it has rolled down, that is when the looters now come. Coming from a place where looting is order of the day, I would say that looters are people who are generally ready. They just wait for circumstances. So the looters next year may be, especially those who are freestyle, will just look at the circumstances, and if the circumstances offer themselves, then they will loot. So other groups, like the families, the human rights people, will in future look at circumstances and even the security, at circumstances that will not allow looters. They will not allow people to be harmed and so on and so forth. They have time to review that. But then all affected parts, all affected sides agree that goons were hired for, you see that there is the two sides. And then in the middle, we have the people who are affected, the family of the victims, Rex Masai, the family of the young, not even a boy, a kid, young kid in Rongai, and so on and so forth. These are people who want to, and did I say human rights CBOs, community-based organizations, such things like that. They were ready to do the commemoration. But we have two giants on two sides, one on this side and one on the other side. They came out to, they have come out and agreed that yes, hired goons came and infiltrated the thing. But when you ask them, who are the hired goons? Each side blames the other side. And that is why in his interview with the NTV, Rigathi Gachagua was very clear. Rigathi Gachagua was very clear, and he debated in a very sober way that even impressed me. And that is why when I started this video, I said that Rigathi, when he decides to reason, he can be a very good reason. He can give out good results, and I even gave example where he out-debated a senior counsel. Now, which are the points that he gave that impressed me? When asked whether those goons were hired, goons and looters, whether they were hired or they were just spontaneous, he said they were hired. And then the interviewer said, it is believed that it is your camp that that had hired the goons. He answered in a very good way, in a very reasonable way. He said, how is it that the goons that are hired by the opposition, the government were unable to contain them? The government was unable, or is it unwilling? He used the word unable, but I think he meant unwilling. Why did he even asked, why did the government allow goons hired by the opposition to loot? He was trying to say, and he convinced me, and I'm very sure he convinced a lot, that if it is true that the goons were hired by the opposition, the government would not allow the goons to loot. Remember, this government is the one that the government, you know, the regional police commander said that whenever they go for an operation for what do you call crowd control, they usually carry rubber bullets. But we have had cases that is obviously a case of not demonstrators or anything. Take this, I can't recall his name, the 15-year-old Somali boy from Mukuru, Kwanjenga. He was shot in the neck. He was 15 years and he was shot while in the balcony trying to see what was happening. Take the case of, is it Nakuru? Of the boy, Form 4 boy, who was on midterm. He didn't go home straight. In other midterms, or when the schools are closed, he goes home straight. But he had an elder brother who stayed somewhere there. He decided one of the days he has to stay at the elder brother's place and then go home the following day. I was in school once, I was in a boarding school once. He must have gone to see the brother to remind him about pocket money. Then he took a motorcycle, went home, and he was shot there. Did I talk about the boy in Ongata Rongai? These people are not shot by rubber bullets. They are shot by life, and they are shot in circumstances. Yeah, we have even a case of a boy in one of the slums in Nairobi who had gone to pick his brother, younger brother, in a private school, and when he got at the gate, he was shot. He got at the gate, he was shot, and the people of that place got annoyed, went and burned down the police station which was nearby. When they burned the police station which is nearby, the police now changed the narrative that no, there are people who came. Now they were putting the cart before the horse, saying that there are people who came to loot. We come to burn the police station and we shot them. But there was an amateur video which is still on the social media, showing that the boy dead at the gate of the school. And if you look at the Mabati there, it is really clearly written the name of the school. So you can see the few examples I've given. These are innocent people, mostly young people. One I said, the one in Mukuru was on the balcony watching how people are writing. One had gone to pick his younger kid just next to the private school that the younger brother studies. He was shot there. Then people got annoyed, went to burn the police station. The police changed the statement. There is the case of the boy in Nakuru who was on half term, went and slept at his brother's place, maybe somehow gotten a few coins for, so that when he goes back to school, he has more money. Now he took a tuk-tuk, was it no, a boda boda. As he was riding home, he was shot. You can see a lot of very innocent people shot by the police. The same police that the minister is telling them to shoot as they approach the police station. So back to Rigathi, when he was talking, he just said, if it is true that the goons, we have seen the cases of kids being shot by the police, not rubber bullets as Mr. Seda is saying. No, it's not the rubber bullets. It is the live bullets. They are being shot at by, and they are not a threat to the police, and they are not whatever. They are not even part of. If it is somebody, an adult, even a very old man like me, we would say maybe he's in. If Matiangi, not Matiangi, Maraga, if Maraga can be on the demonstration, then I also can be on the demonstration. But these are kids, school-going kids, who are not even near, but then they are shot and killed. But then goons, as Rigathi was saying, then goons hired by the opposition are looting, and the government, the police is just seeing that. He also said that you must have noticed that the goons were welding those jembe handles, and they were being cozy with the police. But the police didn't shoot them, but they shot those who were young kids, who were evidently not part of the demonstration, who were evidently not part of looting. And then he said that we don't have any evidence of a single looter being shot. Remember, after we talk about all those kids who are shot in all those circumstances and looting happening, and you can see looting, there are so many video shots of looters just looting and coming out and whatever. Up to this time, we don't have a single instance of a looter being shot, even a single one. Of course, if a looter is shot, his immediate family will say he was a bypasser. But Rigathi was very eloquent when he said that not a single looter had been shot. So if the looters were hired by the opposition, you see, he cleverly handled it in such a way that he could really convince anybody. If truly the looters or the goons were hired by the government, why were they so cozy with the security? There are even pictures of land cruisers driving slowly, and the looters making if you have seen the way police motorcycles and even military motorcycles surround the president during the parade or public holidays. Those who are walking around with those people. Then he really convinced me that he's a very good debater, because if the opposition can hire those goons and those goons be next to 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 to, to, to the land cruiser, then you can see, just like Congolese say, Makambozali Minene. There is hidden message there. It shows clearly. And then when you add something, when we add something, when we say that at Matete, in my rural home, at Matete, the governor of Nairobi said, last time they found me not ready. Let them try this time. It was just when I thought that he had forgotten the Mrima, he came back. Um, and as I've said, the way he talked, I'm convinced that he was going on well, and it is a journalist who returned him back to Mrima, and he became the Mrima person he is. He said that he blamed Ruto for making him turn. He said him and the Mrima people are regretting. Just before I continue, why is he talking about Mrima, 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 and he's supposed to be a national leader? But then he said that Mrima people uh, turned against Mrima people turned against Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and they are regretting. He is regretting, and they are regretting. To me, I would say they should not regret Ruto making him turn against Uhuru, but they should regret that they are so of low reasoning capacity that any human being can make them turn against any other human being at any time. It is. I'm not trying to deny that Ruto made them turn against Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta or anything, and him and them are regretting or anything. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that if you can be fooled to an extent that you can turn against anybody, leave alone Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, then it means that it is you to be blamed. Because right now, if through this video I can tell you to go and ban your neighbors, uh, if I can convince you through this video to go and burn your neighbor's house, and you go and burn your neighbor's house, and then when you are caught, you produce this video and say, you see, it is after watching this video. It means that it is not I to blame you, but you to blame yourself. It is bad also to reason as people from a certain region, but Mrima people are known to be reasonable people. I said we should not group people, but let me just say this for once, that there are so many, there are so much reasonable people. Now, trying to tell me or anybody else that the Mriba people are so useless, so unreasonable, that somebody else, whether it is Ruto from outside or even somebody from within, who can come and confront you and incite you against anybody, not even just Uhuru, then it shows, then you may not be knowing, but you're trying to tell us that Mrima people are unreasonable people and are so easily swayed. Always be careful with what you say. If you are fooled and went to that extent, who is to blame? Is it you or the person who did that? Just when I had thought that it will not be a Ruto mugging thing, you started mugging Ruto again and again. Yes, it is true. You made some reasoning by saying that etiquettes to do. You know, I now want to talk to my viewer. There is etiquette that is unwritten. Remember a person like Matiang'i. Matiang'i, when his movement is always monitored by the government because he has, that is something that goes with the office. That is because he used to chair the National Security and Advisory Committee. He has a lot of government secrets. It happens in every country. And whenever he goes and whatever, there is a certain protocol that happens. Let me remind some middle-aged people. When Moi handed over to Kibaki, there was a day that cameramen were outside Moi's Kibera office or residence, and the GSU people entered the lorries and whatever and left, and people cheered, but they came back at night. That was a ceremonial leaving of the place. It was a ceremonial leaving of the place where they were now going, but they now came back. They were saying that that is the end of the Moi's presidency. But Moi was now being guarded as a former president. When you are in a certain position in government, there is a certain etiquette. There is a certain etiquette that is made arrangement in your security, in your, a lot of things I want to say. Like a former head of state coming to Kenya, even on private issues. When he reaches Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, he goes into the VIP lounge for the vice presidents. Former presidents use the VIP lodges for current vice presidents and prime ministers. So that is the etiquette that happens. And when Rigathi was asked about the attack into Uhuru's whatever, and the stealing of goats, and he gave that example. Even people who are in the security level, uh, we have levels. We have levels. We can talk of is it grade 6, grade 5, grade 4, up to grade 1. Now, assuming that grade 6 is the highest, a former president, there are a lot of things that you have to do if you are a government operative. You have to handle it, bearing in mind in his office. I remember, for those of you who are in the middle age and above, I remember there was a time when Kibaki appointed Moi as a peace ambassador. As a peace ambassador, I don't remember the name of the minister for. I don't remember the name of the minister for foreign affairs at that time, but I remember, you know, all ambassadors work under the minister for foreign affairs. Then when it reached a time when the minister for foreign affairs wanted to show that Moi has really gone down to an extent that he is under the minister for foreign affairs. What did the minister for foreign affairs do? The minister for foreign affairs called the minister for foreign affairs summoned Moi as an ambassador to his office, trying to show him that nowadays you used to be the president, but you are now even lower than Minister for Foreign. Moi refused to go there, and he said, "You can even go away with your." It took no other person than Mwai Kibaki himself to correct the issues. He correctly said, Mwai Kibaki correctly said that the level of Moi is that he's a peace ambassador and is not answerable to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, but is answerable to the president. If you remember very well, Uhuru is the ambassador for the Congo crisis or something like that. I can't recall exactly particular things, but on the swearing in day, the day that Rigathi and Ruto are being sworn in, I remember Ruto thanking Uhuru for accepting to be a peace ambassador, and Ruto appointed Uhuru, the outgoing president, as the peace ambassador. What the then Minister for Foreign Affairs did not know then, and what many of the viewers will know from this video, is that Peace ambassadors are, yes, ambassadors like any ambassadors and high commissioner, but they are not answerable to the Minister for Foreign Affairs. They are answerable to the head of state, and with the permission of the head of state, other regional heads of state. So that is why Rigathi Gachagua was saying that for it is an he was diplomatically answering. I can say he was diplomatically answering. You know, it doesn't look good for him to accuse the president directly, and so he used a very polite way of answering the thing and saying that a person like of the level of former president, anything that happens to him and whatever, it has to be done basically at least with the knowledge of the sitting president. I think he was very clear in that, and you should know that.